All right, an adjournment there at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry sitting at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria. On the stand today, Dr. Godfrey Lebeya, of course, the former DPCI or Hawkshead Lieutenant General Evidence Leader, Advocate Lee Siegels Ncube, has been taking us through two statements and his one of them being his sworn affidavit, of course, and the supplementary statement. His cross-examination will be dealt with at a later stage, and of course that date will be confirmed later, but the commission does resume tomorrow. And just briefly touching on some of the things that came out of that second statement, which was requested by the commission, including the multi-million rand Arrowton drug bust and, of course, Port Shepstone storage and major drug consignment theft there. On the latter part, in terms of the Port Shepstone, General Musikili's ultimate report made several recommendations, including that Lebeya appoint a senior functionary at the level of a major general to lead investigations to establish whether misconduct was committed in the handling and the storage of some of those exhibits. Now, Lebeya confirmed that the investigation was not done, but insisting that the investigation should have been initiated by KZN Hawkshead Lesija Sonona at that particular time. He's also been addressing a number of other issues coming out of that supplementary statement, including how he handled the complaints against IDEC head Lieutenant IDEC head Andrea Johnson. Tembekile Mkhototo monitoring those developments for us very closely. So Tembekile, today's proceedings were essentially meant to allow, of course, Dr. Lebeya to only read out those two statements into record, given that his cross-examination will then be set aside for a later date. I guess the level of clarity-seeking questions that we heard there from the commissioners give us just a scale of how much he will have to answer to when he is ultimately cross-examined, including, of course, decisions he took or chose not to take during his time as the national head of the Hawks.
Well, Nati, good afternoon. So there'll be plenty for the former head of the Hawks, Dr. Godfrey Lebeya, to deal with when he comes back to the Madlanga Commission for cross-examination, because right at the beginning we were told that in fact his statement, that very first statement that he read out, is possibly the longest that any of the witnesses here at the Commission have read before the start of their cross-examination. He's gone back, in fact, well over 10 years in terms of the internal dynamics and politics of the country's police service at a management level, but he's made it very clear that ultimately